Hey, shout out, folks. Happy Friday before what we hope is a fun-filled, relaxing weekend for you. And if you're in the Little Rock area, get prepared for the apocalyptic storm hitting us tonight. Stock up on cookies, Dr. Pepper, and ice cream. All of it chocolate, of course. Yeah, baby. What a crazy week and never a dull moment. I'm updating the steps leading down to our studio. The steps were really old and hadn't been attended to in years. They'd become outdated and frankly dangerous. You probably know where this is going. During that process, I had an epiphany. It made me think of the recovery steps, and if it's not perhaps time, I revisited them. A checkup from the neck up, so to speak. It's not a bad idea for us to periodically go through the steps and, if nothing else, discover areas we need to work on and discover areas we've actually grown in. Yeah, so this is just a random thought. And with that, it's Bob the Old Rucker, and we have another great show for you today. Hey, man, y'all bless us. Redbeard and I and the rest of the Shout Out team, thank you for listening to the show and your great feedback. Please keep sending suggestions on how we can improve your show. This is the People's Show. This is your show, a platform where your message can be heard and shared with people looking for hope and good news. We want to share your story, how you overcame your hurt, habit, or hang-up, and what you do to maintain a healthy, happy life today. Contact us at shoutoutfromthepit.com. We're looking forward to meeting you and sharing your story with us and the world. And wait for it, big news! We've finally gone social media with Facebook and YouTube. Now, we thought it smart to wait to see, where Shout Out was going. Well, thanks to your support and feedback, it looks like we're not going anywhere. So be sure to subscribe, like, and share with a friend. Shout Out from the Pit on Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, or anywhere you listen to the show. You'll get Diane's missives full of awesome tools and encouragement and episodes designed to edutain as you trudge the road to happy destiny. And you'll get daily insights from the Shout Out team. As Ralph says, it's for free and for fun. Heads up, next week's show is Open Mic with Shari from Team Shari, chatting with the ladies on a variety of subjects. Spoiler alert, from my office, I heard lots of laughter and healing tears. That is going to be an awesome show. It's shameless plugs time. Huge shout out to, ready for it, Security Halt. Denny is the founder and host of Security Halt and brings a myriad of subjects covering all kinds of recovery and educational tools for the brain. Before Redbeard came into my life, Denny took the time to educate and encourage me to make Shout Out happen. His podcast and newsletters speak volumes, and I've mad respect for his service to our country. Check out Security Halt and tell him the Old Rucker sent you. Thanks, Denny, for all you do, and especially for your encouragement. My next shameless plug goes out to Rivera Italian Restaurant in North Little Rock, Arkansas. Folks, if you're in or near North Little Rock, you got to check out Rivera. The food is amazing and reasonably priced. The ambiance is relaxing and chill, and the staff are amazing and fast. My shameless plug is for these qualities and for the arrangements they made this past weekend for Brother Pat, one of our tribe brothers. They accommodated our large tribe group and surprised Pat with a couple of birthday desserts topped with candles. And as a Marine, he ate the candles and gave the desserts to the tribe. So hit up Rivera Italian Restaurant in the Lakewood Plaza and tell Johnny and Maria the Old Rucker sent you. All right, so here's what to expect from this show. Shari, not the same Shari from Team Shari. This is a different yet still wonderful Shari. Shari's life changed the day she learned she had cancer, and surrendering was not an option. With Les, her lifelong battle buddy, they share the ups and downs of dealing with cancer. Reminder, these raw and uncensored recovery episodes are about real people with real struggles. And now, on with the show. Shout out, folks. It's Bob the Old Rucker coming at you raw and uncensored. And as always, only God knows what's going to happen on this show. Welcome to Shout Out from the Pit, where the host sucks, but the guests are awesome. I'm the host, and Redbeard, my friend, partner, and producer, is the brains behind the scenes. Joining us today are Shari and Les. Give us a shout out, folks.
Hey, what's going on?
And I'm going to go off script for a sec. First of all, I'm very grateful that you guys are here, especially with the topic is obviously surviving cancer, and your story is amazing. So I'm really looking forward to capturing that. But what I'm really grateful for is that we finally got to get caught up. So I'm going to go off script for a little bit and just say a few things. One, we met in the 90s. Les and I were stationed together and got on this assignment that it was really rough for me to get hooked up there because of all the, senior military egos. So you and Shari basically accepted our family with open arms. We went to Crater Diamond, dug for diamonds. The kids played just goofy stuff, right?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. It was very cathartic to go out there and dig in the dirt like a 5-year-old and get dirty and just.
Must do if you come to Arkansas.
Yeah, you come to Arkansas. Right. You have to come to the Crater of Diamonds in Murfreesboro.
That's right.
And just dig.
Yeah,
bring a picnic lunch.
Yeah, and now name some of the, because it's amazing that you can not only remember but pronounce them. What are some of the gems that we found when we were out there?
Oh, gosh, we found rubies. Everything's in rough cut, so they look like rocks. God, we had some amethyst and we had some rubies.
Can't believe you can pronounce all that.
There was some quartz out there, but we found all kinds. We didn't find any diamonds, sadly. Right. It's always the people from out of state that find the diamonds. It's rare that somebody in Arkansas who goes there all the time actually finds a diamond.
Isn't there a record-breaking diamond in the world or something that came from there, or am I just making this up?
I think there is. I think it was a brown diamond. I don't know how big it was. It was several carats.
I think it was 2-point-something carats.
Yeah, something like that. But it was a brown diamond, I think.
Oh,
yeah, and it looks like a rock because it's uncut.
Right. Yeah, we're actually going to come back to diamonds in a moment because, of course, as the military would be, I got moved on years past almost decades, and then went through a rough patch that's irrelevant to the story, but. Les, we got in contact and you said, we literally just fired a guy and there's an opening here. You want to come work here? So I came back to the Little Rock area. And again, you guys took me in and I was going through that rough patch. And some of the funny things about it was, I remember Shari was like, you're always like the mother hen, but you're very transparent. It's not like you don't have filters. You just tell the filters, now this needs to be said. And you were like, you need to get your head together. You need to get your act together. And it was really awesome that you guys were there for me during my junk, which ended up leading to me meeting, Shannon. And then I had just had a surgery, so I was in a wheelchair. You pushed me around looking for a wedding ring.
Yeah, I remember that.
And no, what the funny part was, I said, take me to the Air Base PX, and you were like, I swear to God, if you buy her a ring from there, this marriage won't last long.
Yeah, it won't.
Well, that's when I found out that you knew all about diamonds.
Yeah.
How the heck does anybody just randomly pick that up? Did you, I forget now, were you in the diamond industry or something?
No, I wasn't. I was living in Orange County. And one of my first
Orange County, California.
No, wait. Yeah. I was working at it wasn't Zales. It was, what was it? Slavics, which is the Zale Corporation has different levels of jewelry stores. Back then, I don't know what it is now, but it started like at Zales is a little more affordable. Then you had Slavics, and then you had something else, the higher end stuff. And so that's where I started. I didn't know anything about anything. And it just kind of evolved from there.
Cool,
so I started learning about diamonds. And something about being a military spouse, you're a jack of all trades and you're a master at being a jack of all trades. And so I eventually kind of, worked my way up. And then to kind of digress for like a microsecond, I wound up going from, where did I live? It wasn't Santa Monica.
Yeah, I thought it was Tustin. Oh, what are we talking about?
Well, like when I finally decided to move from Orange County up to Monterey. Well, the point of the matter is I started working at Proctor's Jewelers, which is not existing now. But they taught me a lot about selling very high-end diamonds. Like we would have a diamond room, and I'd have $500,000 worth of loose diamonds out, making wedding sets or engagement rings or something like that. I started at Zale, Slavics, and then went to Zales up to this.
Wow.
It was just like one of these, random things. But yeah, so I learned about diamonds, and then we got digging in the
diamonds and Rolexes. That was the
Rolex,
thing.
yeah, very high-end watches. And I was like, what?
Well, you're educating me during that time. I was too guilty to buy her a ring at anything other than we went to, I'll do a shameless plug for them. They were great. Sissy's Log Cabin.
Yeah.
And we got this beautiful diamond for her that was just, and that's another story for another day that I'll let Team BS, that's Bob and Shannon, we'll discuss that another day. But it was she never takes it off. I mean, It was like, I don't wear a ring because I had my finger ripped off, and so I wear it when we go on dates, but otherwise I don't wear jewelry. This is, what do you call those watches that get ripped off? If it gets snagged, it'll just rip right off. Yeah. Otherwise, I don't wear jewelry.
I had a good time pushing you around in a wheelchair, though.
That was fun because I was like, can you go any faster? And you were like, I was waiting for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, people were moving out of the way.
That was fun, though.
God, nuts is us. The other thing that you guys will ring in eternity with us was when we got married, you showed up with a photo booth. And all the guests, and it was a pretty large wedding, were able to go in and you brought all these props so people could have a good time. And now we've got our photo memory book from that. And it was just do you still do that by any chance?
I do not do that anymore. It was happy hour photo booth, and I don't do it anymore. I sold that equipment.
Oh, man, because I'll tell you, that made the event. That was one of the coolest.
But I know a guy.
I know a guy. Okay, folks, if you need a photo booth, dude, you call me. I'll put you in touch with Les. All right, so moving into the show. Icebreaker. I always do an icebreaker like news story, random facts and stats that are related to the topic. That's somewhat edutational, right? Educational and entertaining. There is nothing about that in the cancer world. I mean, I looked at stats and facts. I'm just going to be straight up with you. It's depressing. And the more I read, I never did this in-depth, Dr. Webb stuff until you, Shari.
Yeah.
But here's the one thing that really speaks volumes to you being on the show. The one thing that resonates across all the survivors is optimism and a fighting spirit. And when I read that, and it just kept popping up. That's not what I was looking for. I was looking for stats and facts. But that kept popping up, and I thought, gee, you know what? I am not going to give stats and facts because they're depressing. But that really tells me a lot about, just in a sense, we've got medications for cancer, we've got therapies, whatever. But all these people that survived it had that one big thing in common. So before we actually get into that, because it's going to be pretty quick, we've done this jaw jacking here, but the audience has no idea who you people are. I'm going to do just a quickie. You guys met in high school. You elaborate this, but I'm just giving the outline. You guys met in high school, had an interesting separation because you went in the Army. Then you got married in June of 85. 86. And then a couple of kids came along. Ryan and Evan, both of them are doing great. Great boys. You guys did a great job raising them.
Thank you.
And good looking guys, just like their dad. I'd say like their mom, but that'd be weird. But they're just a joy to converse with and chat. I love those guys to death. Ryan and I actually did some backpacking together, back in the day. Just a strong guy, for goodness sakes. And then, you worked for the government in many different capacities.
From contracting to being a GS, government worker, yes.
Right. And then, and now you are, it just blows me away because it started off as, just a pocket change, but now it's kind of like your jam. Like moonlighting?
Yeah, moonlighting job, yeah.
So, I mean, off the top of your head, how many entertainers have you met in your life? Do you even have a clue?
Well, from a stagehand's perspective, I could say many. but you don't really get to meet the talent.
Okay, you don't.
I don't get to meet the talent at all.
But you've done so many shows, you probably have no idea, right?
Well, I mean, when you're saying actually meeting,
no, I meant shows that you've done stage.
Yeah, that's done stage work. Yeah, I've just seen the concerts and everything. Boy, I couldn't even begin to count. I mean, thousands.
Bless. That's
over
amazing.
the years. I'm not saying in a year, but
sure. But the difference between you two is that you, of course, at one time were astute with diamonds and still are. But I remember you were entertaining the idea of going into like massage therapy, and then you did. You got your license. I'm talking to Shari now. So you got your license. You had a little place you did in Jacksonville, and then you did some stuff in Little Rock. And then one time I went and saw you because I've got this big shtick about people touching me. You'll hear that on some of the other shows. But I have, from the Army days, I got neck issues, and I was getting ready to go on a father-daughter trip, and I called you, and I was like, Shari, I'm so desperate, I'm willing to let you touch me. So I went in, and it was amazing. I am a believer now. Not so much of a believer in other therapies because they've done more challenges to me than provided relief. But you are gifted in that, and now you do it. We talked about in a pre-show spa. You call it a spa, or what did talk about that?
I work at Quapaw Bathhouse and Spa in Hot Springs, and
it's just bad. When you say bathhouse, I'm like I've got my towel in my hand, but no, there's more to it than just going to take a bath.
There's more to it. Quapaw is one of the bathhouses on Bathhouse Row in Hot Springs National Park, and we have the Hot Springs water that is actually has to be cooled down and filtered to go into the pool because the water comes out of the springs at like 140 degrees. It's crazy. It's so crazy. So it goes through this filtration system. Anyways, it's a big old thing. But then you have 4 pools inside the bathhouse. And so you can go in there, you pay like your $30 to get in. You can stay for as long as you want. But the water is so therapeutic. And so what they've done is they've built private baths that you can go into and have Epsom salt soaks and whatever added to your water. But they also offer spa services. So we do like the mud wraps, the body scrubs, the private baths in the couples room, the private showers in the couples room. We do massage, facials, and stuff like that. But it's the only bathhouse that offers those kind of services. So so if you go to what is it, Quapaw bathhouse.com or whatever it is, okay. You can pull it up and see everything there.
Okay, I got to ask you a couple of questions. So, are your clients running around in togas or groin cloths, or what does that look like? Should I even ask that? I don't know.
Well, to go into the baths, you have to have a bathing suit, and if you forget your bathing suit, we do have a boutique, gift shop boutique where you can purchase a bathing suit. And they're actually, honestly, they're really cute bathing suits. They're actually reasonably priced. You'd think they'd be all bougie and everything. It's not. We just want you to be covered when you go into the pools.
Yeah, well, I think I'd like to, if I'm going to see another client, I'd like to see them covered too.
Yeah, so. But if you go into the spa parts, you're issued, slippers, robes, a locker.
Okay. All right, so now this is this Hot Springs National Park. That's in the Hot Springs has an interesting history behind it with gangsters. Al Capone comes to mind.
Yeah.
Is there any evidence that Al Capone ever went in there with a groin cloth or a bathing suit or whatever? Because dude carried a weapon everywhere he went, so I'm just curious.
I'm sure he's been in there. I don't know what the whole history is on that. But Hot Springs was kind of a neutral zone for all the gangs. They came there to because the water's so healing. It's kind of they're like, okay, we're gonna stop for a little bit, kind of chill, get our shit together, and then we'll go back to business again. But the baseball teams went and trained there too. They would go there for their training.
Babe Ruth was one of the frequent flyers there.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So they would go in there and train and soak in the hot tubs after training because the water is so healing.
So, because we don't have to go too far off the reservation here, but what possessed you to get into this industry, and why do you still do it? Because you've been in it a while now.
I've been doing it for 21 years now.
Wow.
I've been doing this.
Well, is your nickname Fingers, or do you have a nickname?
No. Well, it came about because I had like a midlife crisis and I lost my mind. You know, I don't know. I don't know what happened to me. I was just like at the end of my rope. I was 40, and you know, your midlife crisis will happen usually between the ages of 40 and whenever. But I was bartending before I did this. And being a military spouse, military spouses never really get to have a career because we're constantly following the military person. It's not even a military husband. It's whoever's active duty. You follow them around. And the military is a lifestyle. It's not just a job. It's an adventure. You know? But it's a lifestyle. And so I have started school lots of times and had to quit. And I was going to nursing school, and I quit 3 months before I graduated because Les got orders to Fort Leonard Wood. And so I quit and followed him there. And I guess I resented that because, you know, we'd put so much money into schooling and everything. But I was like, okay, whatever. You know, it's one more thing I sweep under the rug, you know, kind of thing. And when I was bartending, which I loved bartending, the money was decent. And I had cash in my purse and went to the store, and then I didn't have any cash. And I was like, I don't know. I just got this. It's easier. It's like whoever in the house has cash, that's where you get your money from, you know, kind of thing. Anyway, I lost my mind and started drinking some wine and getting even more resentful. And then I realized that I was somebody's spouse or somebody's bowling mom or somebody's mom. I had lost my identity. And what really got me to that point too was Les had a heart attack in 2005.
2014.
Oh, is that what?
Yeah, that wasn't even around the time.
Okay, 2014.
That's down the road.
Yeah. Okay. My timeline is like completely screwed up now. But anyway, I guess what? Oh, I know what it was. 2004 is when I got my license. So it was 2003. Yeah. He was talking about retirement already, and I thought if something happens to him or whatever, I have nothing to fall back on. I have nothing to fall back on. And so I was about 4 glasses of wine into my crazy. And I just started like almost like speaking in tongue, just like word vomiting my issues. And I said, I'm quitting my job.
As a bartender.
I'm quitting my job. This was in November. And I've always worked retail, everything like that. Retail for a military spouse is easy because you can go anywhere and be in retail. And so I quit my job and I said, I'm going to stay home. And this was the very first time in my life that I actually got to spend the holidays with my family. Now it was kind of a skinny Christmas because I wasn't working. But the point of the matter was I got to stay home. And I started school January 4th of 2004 and never looked back. The doors have opened up. You know, sometimes the universe puts you in a position where you have to go insane to make a change, to absolutely make a change. And that's what happened. I said, I'm going to school. Now, massage school was easy for me because I had all the nursing background in school. So it just happened to work that way. And when I was in nursing school, I had an instructor that said, you would probably be more suited to alternative therapies because I was very empathetic to the patients I was working on. And they said, you're spending too much time on your patient. You got to get going. Come on. We got other people to take care of, which I understand. I completely understand that. But this person that I was working on needed my attention. And so I put that on the back burner. Everything that happens in your life, whether it's good, bad, or oh, I don't know about this, put it on the back burner, because somewhere along the line, that experience is going to come back and help you with the next thing.
That's good.
Even the negative stuff, even the tragedies, even your childhood abuses or situations like that will come back and help you. And the reason I say to come full circle on that, when I became a massage therapist, everything that I'm trained in right now has been the direct result of something that has happened to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you still, I mean, I had to ask this, but like if I can use the word purpose in this sentence,
Mm-hmm.
what is your purpose in being a massage therapist? Is that what you call yourself, a massage therapist? I don't know the industry.
Yeah. Okay. So to clarify, if anybody has ever wondered, what do I call a person who does massage? It is a massage therapist. A masseuse is French for massage.
Okay.
But a masseuse has been given the wrong connotation, and that comes from years and years ago. Oh, what does your masseuse do for you? Kind of thing. So the word masseuse is really a negative word now in the massage therapy.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So if anybody was ever wondering about that, don't call your massage therapist a masseuse.
Okay.
Just don't.
What do you call them?
A massage therapist.
Or Shari?
Or their first name, Shari, or Shari. Yeah, but don't call them a massage therapist. Don't call them a masseuse.
That's good to know. Okay.
Unless you're French.
Okay.
And then you can't get around that.
Right. Okay, so let's what year did you tell? Let's look at the cancer journey, because this is the stuff that I was tracking on Facebook. I didn't write you as much as I wrote Les, because I thought, man, you have got to be getting inundated with tons of love and distractions. I'm not good with that, but all I could do was like, Les, what do I do? Stand by, we'll let you know, And so Shannon and I, we're obviously tracking this pretty close, praying for you. But maybe now that we've got a chance to catch up, I'm so glad you guys came into town last night and stayed with us. And Shannon made dinner and breakfast. You got to come in more often.
Because she's amazing.
Well, if you keep coming around, maybe I can get her to keep making meals.
Yeah.
She would have been here today, she had a distraction. So she was not here, but she's totally supporting this. Give us the, and thank you for doing this because we haven't done a show on Cancer Survivor before, and tracking you through this. I didn't do the podcast at that time.
No.
But then when we were looking for topical ideas and listening to, our audience feedback and whatever, somebody had actually mentioned, what are some of the topics? Cancer came up, and I was like, I actually know somebody. So that's why I'd reached out to you, and I didn't know if enough time had gone. And then when I did reach out, you said you had just got your recent clean bill of health. I'm making that up. I don't know what to call it.
No, it's called no evidence of disease. NED.
Okay.
And what that is
remission or gone?
You are in remission.
Okay.
It's the way it was explained to me. It's never gone.
Okay.
It's always no evidence of disease. Because if you say it's completely gone, then that kind of solidifies it that you're never going to get it again.
Oh, I see.
Which is, so no evidence of disease or in remission means that it's gone for now. So it could be, I've known people who've been in remission for 20 years, 25 years. But you can't say it. There's no doctor in the world that will ever say you will never get this again.
Okay.
Because you just, that's a guarantee that nobody can make.
So a person can get the same cancer back, or even a different one, because we're just humans, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So take us back down memory lane, you were just having a normal average day or whatever. How did you discover this? And just walk us through the journey. I'm just going to sit back and let you guys just chat, because I'm really curious about your discovery of it, Les, your feelings as your battle buddy. God, you guys have been together for 40 years, 50 years?
39 years.
39.
And that's
until 2026. Okay, anyway.
Yeah, and then we'll have our 40th anniversary next year.
But that's just the anniversary, because you guys chummed around in high school and you weren't even dating.
We were drinking buddies in high school.
You were just buddies.
Yeah.
So you guys have been together.
She had her boyfriend, and I had
he had his girlfriends.
And but so here you are all these years later, and unless you checked with me last night, like, hey, my routine is I take my wife coffee in the morning. So where do I go? What do I do? And I'm like, that is freaking awesome. That you have that kind of relationship all these years later. So during your story, while you're giving us the challenge, I do want you to feel free to inject and just let you two go on about what is it. I mean, the fearfulness that you must have felt going through this, but at the same time, knowing you, because I've known you since the 90s, being a soldier, like, all right, battle up. So I'm going to step back and just, free flow from the top of the dome, let it go.
Well, it started, okay, so it started when I turned 40. The age that women should start getting mammograms is age 40. So I turned 40. I was like, all right, we're going to do this. And I apologize if some of these things I get emotional with. But I went in, I was like, God, mammograms, you hear like all these horror stories, how they're going to hurt, they're uncomfortable, it's just weird, whatever. Oh, thank you. And, but I was like, all right, I can do this, So I go in, I get my mammogram, and they're like, well, we found a spot. I was like, you got to be fucking kidding me. I was like, I've never done this before. But what the hell? It's like the very first time you have sex and you get pregnant. How does that happen? How does that happen? It just does. I was like, what? And they're like, well, we need to do a biopsy. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Well, come to find out, it was a calcium deposit. And they're like, it's just calcium. This is normal. I was like, Jesus, is every year going to be like this? What? But they said, now that you've set a baseline, like your first mammogram, this is what we found. They're like, you have to stay on top of it. So every single year, almost to the day, I've been getting mammograms. So they have, by this time, it had been 18 years I've been going. So I had 18 years of records to look at for me. Most women don't do that because they don't have time, or they put it off, or they don't want to know, or it hurts too much, or there's always some kind of excuse. So God forbid they do find a lump or something happens. They don't have any records prior for their monitoring. So if they have a tumor, it'd be like, oh, your tumor's, 6 millimeters or centimeters or whatever they use. How long has it been there? Like, because we don't have your records from last year. So I cannot stress enough. It is so, so very important to get mammograms every year. Stay on it. I know it sucks. Suck it up. Suck it up. Take some Motrin, do what you got to do, but you have to go, because God forbid something happens. You having a history of mammograms gives them an indication of when this might have started.
Why is that important?
It's important because like for me, they went back. I was diagnosed in August, and they found it on a mammogram. I usually get my mammograms in August. Yeah, in August sometime. So they could go back to my records from the year prior and be like, okay, she was completely clean a year ago. So from the size of the tumor, it probably started 6 months ago. So I didn't have years and years and years of cancer buildup, because my records last year were completely clear. So they know that this is a recent thing going on. It's still new. We caught it early. And the advantage that I had is I'm 61 now, but when this happened, I was 58. Yeah. I was 58. So, but they can say, okay, this probably happened like in the last 6 months, so they can catch it early. But because I was older, they started using the 3D mammogram, and that's what found it, was the 3D mammograms. And my breast doctor, Dr. Fant, who's amazing, she said, your tumor is so far back against your chest wall. If you had been able to palpate this, in your weekly or daily exams that women can do, if you discover it on your own, it would have been too late. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Because she's like, there's no way you would have been able to find this. No way. It was that 3D mammogram that found it. And so when I went in to my mammogram, I stopped in at work or, like before work, I was going to go get my mammogram done, knock it out, go to work, blah, 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 carry on my day as usual. And when they say, well, we found something, and I was like, oh my God. Okay. So you sit there and they wait and they read your scan, and then they're like, well, we need to do a different diagnostic picture. Okay, fine. So you go back in again, you get your pictures done. And they're like, yeah.
You're not nervous at this point, right? You just don't know what the heck's going on.
Well,
okay, whatever.
I was nervous because I was really hoping that it would have been another calcium deposit, like it was my first time.
Right.
And so, and they're like, well, yeah, this doesn't look like the calcium deposit that you had 18 years ago. They were actually able to bring that up and compare the two. Isn't that crazy? So anyway, and they're like, well, we need to schedule a biopsy. That's when my heart sank. I was like, oh, Lord, here we go. And so I called him and I was like, what do I do? Like, I just you get that sense of panic because you don't know what's going on. All you know is that they found something. And that is the most sickening feeling. It's because there's nothing you can do. You have no control over anything. And I was like, all right, it's going to be okay. It's going to be all right. And I was like, all right, let's find facts. Let's figure out a plan. Let's figure this out. And so anyway, they scheduled the biopsy, which was super weird, the biopsy, because you have to lay on this table face down with your boobs like hanging down inside the table. It's extremely uncomfortable. It's this hard table. My nurses were the most amazing people. They were so amazing. Like, it's such an awkward situation, but they make the best of it. And so as long as you're joking about something, it kind of takes the edge off. But so they did the biopsy, and listen, I just have to sit and wait. So I was waiting for the results to come back. And you and I were at Blade and Barrel.
Yeah.
We were at Blade and Barrel having a beer, waiting for the phone to ring. And I never saw my phone ring. The guy had called me back twice. I never saw my phone ring. But anyway, I kind of looked through it and I was like, oh, I have a message. And so I can't remember what his name was. I know that he was very sweet, but I can't remember what his name was. And he's like, hey, we have your results back. Please call us. I was like, all right. So we downed our beers and be like, all right, here we go. This is it. And so he said, yeah. He's like, we did detect cancer. And it's amazing how time will stop just in an instant. I feel like, oh my God, I'm sitting here having a beer with my husband, and 3 or 4 words will change your life or change the whole space. We're sitting in a bar. Oh, you have cancer. What? Like, I'm only halfway through my beer. Kind of thing. And I said, all right. And so we just went from there. And
Where's your headspace and timing during this?
Disbelief, number one. I mean, it's not the news that you want to hear. Especially seeing, looking in her eyes, and her telling you this. And I think out of all the reactions, hearing that, oh, well, she has the flu or she has this, but you hear that your partner, is in a position where either she'll be fighting for her life or not. It's one of those things so many questions start going through your head is, wait a minute, last year this time she was okay. How could it be 1 year difference? Actually, it's a matter of 6 months, short 6 months. How could something change? How could it, a lot of questions start going through your head,
Wow.
As to what, and I even through the whole process, I still, even talking to her oncologist, going, how does this change in 6 months? I don't get this, and there really is no logical answer to that question, but it changes that quickly. So there's nothing worse than, looking your loved one, your best friend, in the eyes of, knowing that she okay, so what's next? What do we have to do? What do we have to do to fight? That was my first instinct was, and in my mind, I'm sitting there going, okay, this is a game changer. I need to change me. We need to make this right. We need to make this work. So, it was tough hearing this.
So I don't get on social media a lot. I think I found out through Shannon. I think she told me that you guys went public with this, and I remember I was floored. Mm-hmm. I mean, and of course, not the husband, but as a brother to you guys, it's like that's too close to home, And I just remember spinning over it, and of course, we want to go into soldier mode. All right, what are we going to do? What's next? And Shannon was like, I don't remember what her part in this was, but I was like, well, I'm just going to reach out to Les. I think she's the one that told me not to reach out. She she's the level-headed one in the family. Yeah. I'm the scrapper, right? All right, so let's when from the time you guys found out, how long after that did you go public with folks? And if you don't mind me asking, what was your where did that determination come from? From the shock and all, the initial attack to, all right, F it, we're in a fight, bring it, because that's what we saw.
Yeah. On
social media. I was like, these people aren't playing around.
I think, and I don't mean to speak over you, but I think it was when we, she had gotten a new doctor, a breast doctor, Dr. Abraham, is when you go in to find out what is it that she has or what is going on. Yeah. And they stick us in a room, such as what you have here with the television. They don't tell you straight up what's going. They put a video on. This is what you have, and this is what's going to happen.
Yeah,
and that's when it really, I think, floored us.
Yeah,
from my perspective.
Yeah, I think one of the things though, after I initially found out, and of course my beer consumption escalated exponentially after that.
Yeah. It did.
I'm like, okay. I was like, all right, we got this. And then I got pissed. I got angry. It's kind of like grieving. You go through the different steps of grieving. The first initial like shock, or fear or sadness, and then you get angry, and then you start negotiating, and then you are like, all right, okay, I need to figure this out, kind of thing. It's very similar to that, but I got angry because I was like, I don't have time for this bullshit. I got things to do. I'm finally somewhere in my career. By this time I had become a master therapist. So I've got my certifications. I'm like rolling with my career, my time.
I'm sorry. You also started, I don't know how to say this without, because I don't know how much of this you want to get into. You started getting called by name to work with certain celebrities. I mean, your reputation preceded you. I mean, even one guy was flying you out to he and his wife were flying. Do I remember right? You were getting flown out to the East Coast.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how well known you had become in your career, and then this happens, right? So I don't mean to digress, but that just popped in my head.
Yeah, but that was my career, and I was like, oh damn it, in the beginning it was Les's career, and I don't resent his career right now is taking care of us. Him being retired is taking care of us right now. I don't regret that at all. But in the beginning it was always his career interfering with my stuff. So now I have my stuff because he's retired. He's been supporting me 110%. And now this steps in. I'm like, what else? And so I just got angry about it. I got pissed enough. It's kind of like that midlife crisis. You get mad, you throw a fit, and you change shit. And this was one of those things. I was finally comfortable. This interferes. You get mad. And you're like, all right, if I don't get a grip on this and figure this out, it will consume me. And a lot of times cancer, the fear that cancer evokes in a person because it still presents itself as a death sentence, and it doesn't have to be that way. Sometimes you don't have control over it, and it depends on what kind of cancer. It depends on how long you've had it. It depends on whether it's metastasized. It depends on a myriad of things. But I got angry, and I was like, I need to take control of this, or it will control me, and I will lose control. And I couldn't. I was just angry. I was just mad. And so when he and I went to go see Dr. Fant and look at this video, she's a fabulous doctor.
Dr. Abraham.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dr. Abraham. The reason I said Dr. Fant, there's a reason for that. I got a grip on the whole cancer idea, and I was going through all the testing and everything, and I was sending. I'm going to digress here, but there's a reason for this. I was sending all my records to Dr. Fant. She's with Carti now. I love this woman. She's fabulous. I was sending all my records to her and thinking, okay, well, at least I know I have a doctor that I can rely on, and she's going to get me through this. She's going to get me through this. So I was okay with that. What was more devastating to me than actually getting the cancer diagnosis was the fact that TRICARE, in its inevitable wisdom, had taken Dr. Fant out of my system.
What?
Yes. And so she's at Carti now, and TRICARE doesn't cover Carti. So now I'm left without the doctor that I had depended on for the last 18 years.
Is that what they call a TRICARE, tri-death?
It is TRICARE.
Is that the nickname for tri-death? Yeah.
But that scared me more than the actual diagnosis. And so when I went in to go see Dr. Abraham, I had a really shitty attitude. And I apologized to her for this. I said, I'm so sorry. And she's like, well, you can have me as a doctor, or you can find somebody else if you're that angry with me. But she's like, Dr. Fant, her and another gentleman, I can't remember his name offhand, they all had a practice together and then went their separate ways. And I was like, okay, well, if you were working with Dr. Fant in the beginning, that's all you need to say. Because professionally, they were partners. So if you have the same thought process, I trust you. And so, but I had to get past that part. So Dr. Abraham says, okay, this is, what we can do. And so my idea in this, from there, I was like, okay, I want a double mastectomy because I ain't going through this shit again. So I'm going to get a double mastectomy, and I am going to have reconstruction at the same time because I need some new girls. Who doesn't want new girls courtesy of their insurance company, right? I was like, all right, so I'm going to get some new girls, killed two birds with one stone.
Do I dare ask where your input is in this, Les?
I told her that she didn't have to do this. Let's see what direction this is going to take us. Because I really didn't want her to do anything. She, massages her world and everything, and I didn't want anything to stop her down on the road. But again, from my perspective, it's her body. I can't. I told her what I don't want to see her go through, but it's her body. She needs to do what she has to do. But I prefer that she keep her girls. So,
but I was like, no. I said, I'm going to do this. I am not going through this bullshit again. So I'll just set this up, and this is part of my control thing. I was like, okay, I have a plan. I'm going to do this. And she's like, well, let's, she's like, if you want to do this, I can set it up. Have you thought about a plastic surgeon? And I did. I picked out a plastic surgeon that I knew of. And I had talked to him before a long time ago about getting implants anyway. And that kind of went to the wayside. And I said, I'll go back to him. So I had to have Dr. Abraham and this other plastic surgeon. I had to have these two have a surgery date that they both could be there at the same time. So Dr. Fant would take care of the mastectomy, and Dr. Love would put me all back together. So I had a plan. And this was in like August, but they couldn't get together until the end of October. And I thought, now I got to sit here and stew about this shit for a month and a half. knowing that I have cancer and knowing that I have to sit here and wait. It could be growing. I don't know. You have all these scenarios. I have a very vivid, active imagination. So I have like this grand storyline in my head. It never happened except in my head. So I thought, okay, I have a plan. And what do I do in the meantime? So I'm getting online. I'm doing my research. In the meantime, I'm getting all kinds of, so much support. It does take a village. It really, really does. And I'm getting support from friends that I hadn't talked to in years. I'm getting gifts in the mail from people I don't even know, and which was amazing. And I was just so, so grateful. And then I thought I need an oncologist because I need chemo somewhere along the line. I was told that. I was like, okay. So I had a friend of mine who had breast cancer, and she's like, you have to go see my doctor, Dr. Baltz, and he's amazing. And I said, oh, okay, I trust you because you're doing amazing. She's been in remission for 14, 15 years now, but she still goes to see him. And I said, okay, I'm going to set it up because when I have the surgery done, I want to have a plan. I want him to be familiar with me. I want to talk to him without being under the gun and just have a plan. And so I went and talked to him, and he's like, we could do a few things. And he's familiar with Dr. Abraham also. We can do a few things, but we need to go and get a PET scan first. And I was like, okay, I don't know what the hell that is, but let's do it. This is how much I didn't know. And so I went and had the PET scan. And so my double mastectomy was supposed to be on a Wednesday, the Wednesday before Halloween. And that Monday I was doing all my pre-op stuff for this particular surgery. And that was also my follow-up with Dr. Baltz about the PET scan. So I was like, okay, getting this done, excuse me. And okay, so he says, so I got your results back. And he says, you're still going to have your surgery on Wednesday. I was like, okay. And he's like, and I'm glad you did all the pre-op stuff. Okay. But he's like, you're not getting new boobs. I was like, what? Why? What? And he's like, we're going to put a port in because you're going to start chemo on Thursday. Boom, just like that. Now, I had already loaded up. I spent probably $300 on groceries, loading up the house with all my favorite foods for recovery. Spicy food is a comfort food for me. And so I had like curry. I had all the Mexican foods. I had the Chinese stuff. I mean, just great stuff. And he's like, yeah.
Oh, you couldn't have that stuff?
Nope. Because
well, she'll get to the part of where that comes up.
So Dr. Baltz says, yeah, he's like, so your PET scan has shown that it's already metastasized, like within weeks. Now, it may have been there before. I don't know.
We never did say what diagnosis that you actually had when we were in Dr. Abraham's. I just brought up the video.
Oh, okay.
So everybody knows what type of breast cancer she had.
So the type of breast cancer that I had was HER2 positive, HR negative.
Can you say that again, slow?
It's HER2 positive, HR negative.
What does that mean?
It's the type of, honestly, I really don't know what the clarification is on it, but I know that the HR is hormone receptor negative, which means that my cells don't have the hormone receptors to take oral chemo. Yeah, I never knew this. You don't know these things until you get put in a situation. Somebody tested and said, "Oh, well, you can't do this anyway." Well, shit, I didn't know that.
So that's why you had to have a port, and then the chemo was
that's why I wanted to make sure the diagnosis got out there.
That's why they put a port in.
Because I know some people are probably saying, well, how come she wasn't taking anything by mouth? There is chemo by mouth.
Yeah.
This brings back to why she had to do it.
Oh, what a mess.
Yeah. So now when I was in Dr. Abraham's office, I had a spot kind of on the side of my breast, like in my armpit, that was sore, and it was like a little lump. But the thing is, I had just gotten a COVID shot. And COVID shots in 2021, one of the side effects was it will make your lymph nodes swell up. And so there was a thing there. I don't know. You may not remember this, that women would be like, oh my God, I have a lump. And it was a COVID shot. Mine would just happen to be that it had metastasized, but I thought it was the COVID shot.
In the lymph node.
Yeah, it went in my lymph node. Excuse me. So anyway, he's like, no. He's like, we have to start chemo now, right now. And he's like, girl, he says, I'm not going to lie to you. It's going to be tough. He's like, the stuff I have to put you on is no joke. I was like, all right. I was like, fine, fuck it, bring it.
That's when.
Yeah, because I got angry again because I had a plan. Well, best laid plans, right?
Yeah.
So he's like, okay, so I'm going to put you on carboplatin, Taxotere, and then Perjeta and Herceptin. Perjeta and Herceptin are immunotherapy. And I needed 18 rounds of that. And I had 6 rounds of hard chemo. So the first 6 rounds I had were hard chemo. I had them every 3 weeks. And that Taxotere, dude, that shit is no joke. It is no joke. I had chemical burns on my hands. I had them on my face. And what's weird about it is the port, that's my scar right there from it. But I had a port, and the way it sits like just up underneath the skin, and it goes up over your clavicle right here and down into your aorta. It's the weirdest shit. I'm like, how did you even figure this out? What's even more unnerving about it is when they give you this Taxotere, they have to wear protective gear.
Like a hazmat suit?
Basically, because it's so toxic. They have to wear gloves and a gown and a mask and sometimes a face mask or goggles or whatever so they don't get it on them because it will burn them. Yet you're putting this shit next to my artery, next to my heart.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, I'm not seeing the logic in that. Excuse me.
So back to the diet.
Oh, God. Wait, hang on. I have to. So he's telling me, it'll give you chemical burns. It'll upset your stomach. You're going to lose your hair. All this stuff. I'm like, fuck it. Bring it. I got this. He's like, okay. He's like, I love your attitude. That's what I want to hear. And I said, well, I guess I'll lose some weight now. And he goes, well, because I was almost 190 pounds. Yeah, I was roundy. He's like, no, he's like, I prefer you to have extra weight on because your body's going to be going through such a chemical change. You need that extra fat because there are going to be days where you're not going to want to eat. And I need you to have that heavier weight on so your body will have the energy to heal. I was like, okay, fine. So he's like, okay. And he's happy with me. He's like, I love your attitude. That's what I want. I need that fighting attitude. I need that fucking attitude. He goes, okay, so now we got all the gory details out of the way. Now on to some housekeeping. I said, okay. He's like, no spicy food. But what? What? He said, no spicy food. Nothing. Not even pepper if you can avoid it. And I was like, oh. Now, I had just spent $350 on my comfort food. So now my house and my freezer are full of curries and Mexican foods and Thai food and like all the things that bring me joy and comfort. And I can't eat any of it. I bawled like a 3-year-old that just got their toy taken away. It was ridiculous. I'm outwardly crying, like tears streaming down my face.
And while she's doing all this, Dr. Balls looks at me and he goes, now, here's my phone number. Text me anytime if you have any problems with her not listening to the diet I just explained. I want you to call me. Yeah.
What did your diet consist of then? If you can't have all that comfort food,
I ate a lot of chicken.
But processed foods, you probably couldn't have that either. No.
I was just it was a difficult transition for me because I'm so used to eating things with spice, hot food. And he looks at me and he says, sweetheart, I understand. And I'm like, but I'm still bawling. Yeah. Like I'm crying on his shoulder. Dr. Balls looks at him and says, I just explained to her all the awful things that are going to happen to her And she takes it on like a champ. I tell her she can't have Mexican food, and she
starts bawling.
She's hysterical. And he's like trying to console me, and I'm like, you don't understand. It's funny now, but it was very emotional.
Oh, sure.
And he's like, don't do it. That Taxotere does not play well with anything that has capsaicin in it.
Has what in it?
Capsaicin, which is that hot.
Oh.
That hot. That's what makes things hot.
So it burns the tongue.
It burns. He's like, it will give you a bleeding ulcer that you don't want to have. Okay.
I'm convinced.
Yeah. And I was like, okay. And he goes, don't try it. I was like, okay. So anyway.
And Les has him on speed dial.
Yeah.
Did you ever have to reach out to him, Les? Say, hey, she's breaking rules. Come here and spank her.
No, but let me tell you, through the process of her chemo sessions and everything else, she insisted that we go have Mexican food or we would cook. And the look on her eye is, it's like a little kid sitting there looking at me. I'm going to eat. I'm going to eat it. I'm going to eat it. And I'd let her do it. She'd do it within reason. She wouldn't eat a lot of it. And
like on the mild part of the salsa, not the hot part of the salsa.
But she ended up, paying for it later on.
Oh, really?
Of course. But what are you going to do as a supporter here? Okay, I guess we'll just go ahead and find out and hope that it doesn't turn into something tragic.
I know. He would sit there with his phone. Okay, I've got Dr. Baltz right here. Go ahead and try it.
Yeah, I did that too, yeah.
So when did you lose your hair?
I lost my hair after my second treatment.
That fast?
4 years ago.
Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna sidestep here. I got my hair done this last Friday. And on my Facebook page, on my memories, how memories come up on Facebook. Yeah. It was exactly 4 years ago to the date that he and I shaved my head. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it is, because I remember that.
Yeah.
But almost immediately after she started her, I think it was the second chemo session, is when hair started falling out. And I said, well, looks like it's time for us to go get our heads shaved.
And you did too?
Yes, I did it.
That's right.
But Dr. Baltz, he's like, next time you come and see me, you're not going to have any hair. I'm like, oh, yes, I will.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes, I will.
You never did the wig thing, though. You did the wraps.
Yeah, I had beanies and wraps.
Yeah, those cute little wraps.
I'm not a wig person.
Yeah.
I'm
How
not
come you didn't wear those
Halloween,
wraps?
I'm not a wig person.
Well,
less than a wrap.
Yeah, no, that didn't happen.
No, you had some cute ones though, man.
I did.
You look like those little cute little kid pictures you do with the wraps for the, you were an adult with those cute little wraps.
Yeah, and I had the most fabulous people. Lisa Hightower, a really dear friend of ours.
Yeah. She
knitted me a cap that looks like something out of Dr. Seuss. And I have a picture of me, and I still have that. And Tia, a very dear friend of mine, we communicate on Facebook, but I haven't seen her since my training in Hawaii. But she sent me a cap that was crocheted. It was really great. But anyway, where was that? I already digressed about the 4 years to the date.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what it was. Dr. Baltz, he said, you're not going to have any hair. I said, oh, yes, I am. And so when my hair started falling out, I was like, okay, I got my appointment with Dr. Baltz in 2 days. I didn't wash my hair. I didn't brush it. I didn't do anything because it was coming out like in literal handfuls.
Wow.
Literal hand. Wow. I had like hair in the sink. Like it made me cry, but I was like, oh, damn it. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to have hair on my head just to spite him.
Right. She did a lot of homework on what she would do to keep all that hair. That's from cold packs on the head. She looked at every different process of trying to keep hair because some people do this cold pack thing that stops the hair from falling
out. That really works?
Yeah, it does. But it's round-the-clock maintenance, and I'm not that disciplined.
Yeah, that's. I just wanted to rule. I know there's probably people out there saying, well, she could have done this and she could have done that, but it's a matter of having the thought of having a cold pack on her head. It's their ice packs that you put on your head. Because chemo, basically what it does, the chemo is so toxic, it basically
burns the hair follicles and makes your hair dye.
Oh, okay.
And so your head gets really hot. So the cold packs keep it cool enough so your hair root doesn't die.
Oh, that actually makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, but it is very stringent. It's very you have to change the packs out basically round the clock every 3-4 hours.
Oh no.
And come on.
That would be annoying.
Dude, you know me.
Just do the
that ain't
route.
happening.
Yeah, I would have done the same thing.
And I might as well have, a colander on the top of my head, as anything. I was like, no. But I did go into Dr. Baltz's office, and I did have my hair, and he just smiled at me, and he goes, okay, all right. I see where you're going with this. And he knew. Yeah. And he just let me. And the thing is, I don't know that I've ever actually called him Dr. Baltz. I call him Wizard.
Wizard?
Yeah. I don't know if he likes that or not. That's what I call him. But
it's your pet name.
It's my pet name for him.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So, one of the side effects, or one of the things that I couldn't have either, was no hard liquor.
Have you caught up since then?
Oh yeah. yeah, I have. But everybody knows I'm a Crown and 7 person. Or he says no tequila, no margaritas.
Still you cannot?
No, I can now. But when
okay.
I was going through this, and I was like, well, what about beer and wine? It doesn't have a heart. It's I've got the kind of alcohol that's in alcohol.
Kind of alcohol that's in alcohol? Yeah, well, I know what you're talking
know
about.
That sounds.
I get it.
But he's like, that is what, that and capsaicin are the two things you cannot have with Taxotere. So anyway.
Good thing you weren't an alcoholic.
That would have been hard. That would have been really hard. You'd have
had to go through detox first, right?
Yeah.
I would have had to go through detox.
Yeah. And he's like, you can have beer and wine. I said, well, that's a good negotiation. He says, no, that wasn't a negotiation. He's like, you can have that within moderation.
Oh,
okay.
wow.
So fast forward. I'm like, okay, well, I'm a huge beer drinker too. So beer was okay. But it didn't taste the same. It had a metallic taste to it. And that's because of the chemo.
Oh.
So I tried wine. Red wine wasn't doing it for me. The only thing that saved me was Kendall Jackson Chardonnay. And it was Kendall Jackson Chardonnay that did it. I couldn't have any other Chardonnays. They didn't taste the same. There's something about this one. This was it. Sam's buying it by the case.
Oh my gosh. Did you try Dr. Pepper? that's my drug of choice. Yeah. Okay.
Not enough alcohol.
Let me ask you a couple of questions on faith. What during this journey, what was your faith like? In recovery for us alcoholics, we talk about a higher power, whatever that looks like to any individual. What did it look like to you? Did you rely on it, or was it yourself? Was it Les? Was it the wizard?
It takes a village. You have doctors, Les was amazing.
Yeah.
Lord, I'm going to get emotional again. I know. He gets upset when I have a cold. He doesn't like seeing me down, because if I'm down, it's bad.
Yeah.
And so he's been amazing through everything. Like, he has put up with me going through the anger stage and throwing a fit, screaming and crying.
It's real.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's real.
And then, every single person who gets cancer, regardless of who you are, is going to go through the why me stage. Why is it me? Well, no, it's not just you. It's everybody else who got cancer. It's not just you. You're not singled out in this. You just joined an elite group of people. So you kind of get through that. He has listened to me vent. I can't even countless times. And so you just have to get through this. And how I was like, okay, why am I going through this? Because I never felt bad. In the beginning, I was going off of what somebody told me. I never felt sick. I never had symptoms. I never had a sore spot. I never found a lump. I was going off of somebody's word. So, and then the only time I ever felt sick is when they were trying to fix me. Because once I got through the chemo, the chemo session, on a Thursday and Friday, they give me 40 milligrams of Decadron, which is a high-power steroid. I felt like $1 million. until about Sunday afternoon. And I could physically feel myself going downhill. And Sunday night, I was flat out in the recliner. Monday, I was sick. Tuesday, I started feeling better. And then I was doing hydration Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So I was driving back to the hospital Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then when I had chemo, I was there Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Back to the hospital, back and forth. I drove more going to the damn hospital than I did going to work. But being a massage therapist, I couldn't work. I had no immune system. And so I can't be around people like that in that intimate situation. So now I wasn't working. So we have the stress of an income loss now too, which is a huge, huge thing for people going through cancer. You know, people they're like, oh, you're sick, but it affects your family. It affects your diet. So your shopping is different. Your medications are different. I'm lucky we have TRICARE. I'm one of the few people who have that luxury. And I thank God for
we still had bill collectors coming in.
Yeah, we still had bill collectors coming after us.
Medical people.
Yeah, medical bills. But and that's because of clerical errors. A paper chase is what it was. But we met our cap 3 different times on our insurance. And that's just from deductibles. And that's from the medications that TRICARE can't do out at the airbase. So I have to go to Kroger or whatever, and you have a deductible there.
Right.
Yeah. My co-pays and stuff. I met my cap 3 different times just out of that. So, yeah.
So the fighting spirit that we saw through Facebook, did you said it takes a village. Did you have people remind you, or were you self-motivated? Did you have stickies around the place? I mean, what did you do to maintain the optimism and the fighting spirit when you're getting bill collectors calling you, you're getting the financial challenges? Yeah. And then of course you're dealing with your sickness. So how in the world did you rise above that during those times?
I had to keep myself occupied. I had this idea that I was like, okay, well, at least I can sit here and just chill and kind of calm and heal, and I can watch my shows. I didn't have time for shows. I was going to doctor's appointments. I was going here. I was going there. I was very fortunate that I was still driving. Like I drove myself. I mean, Les came with me when he could, but for the most part, I was driving myself, and so I was just busy with that. Now, I will say, chemo brain is real. That is a very real thing. And it lingers. Chemo brain makes you feel like you're losing your mind. It's because your memory, your short-term memory, is constant. And I still, to this day, have problems with names. I'll recognize people. I won't remember names. I don't know why that is. But there have been times where I've had to put up a sticky note to remind me to do something. Or I'll be in the middle of a conversation and then just completely forget what I was talking about.
Or with me being, I would have to remind her or bring something up.
Yeah.
So, I'd have to,
he would prompt me.
I would have to prompt her to what I think that she was thinking.
Yeah.
Were there times when you had to say, "Hey, baby, remember we were going to be positive through this"? I mean, did you need outside help?
Well, that was, yeah. I mean, that wasn't part of the chemo part. That started from the beginning. I mean, you as a not pat myself on the back, but one of the things, like I said, the game changer for me is that I really needed to be a little bit more of a cheerleader. I mean, I've always left her sticky notes in the past, but this was even more critical. Even though I still had to go to work and everything, I would leave sticky notes of, things letting her know how she's doing.
Oh, I had notes. I had pictures of notes he'd leave up in the bathroom that say, "You are beautiful. Have a great day." I look like a slug. I look like a hairless, swollen slug. And he's like, "You look beautiful, baby. I love you. I hope you have a great day," on the bathroom.
You the man. You the man.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He would leave me notes every day. Something like that. You asked me about how did I figure, how did I stay positive?
Yeah.
My idea was, okay, why am I going through this? because it came out of the blue. I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to learn from this? That's the only thing that kept me going was I'm like, okay, I clearly have to go through this for a reason. And that may not make sense to anybody else, but it did to me because that's what I could relate to. So like being a massage therapist, everything that I'm trained in is because of an experience that happened to me. I can relate to it. And so with me going through this cancer, I'm like, okay, why am I going through this? And so I would just kind of basically embrace the suck, just embrace the suck. Be like, okay, this is going to suck, but I'm going through this for a reason. Yeah. And I understand now that I guess I had to go through this experience so I can relate it in my work. So I started taking oncology massage classes while I was going through chemo. And so I could go to the classes. I couldn't work, but I would still go to the classes because they were small. I was still wearing a mask, kind of thing. And that helped the other students in the class because they either worked with people or something, but they never actually had a person who has active cancer in their class.
Oh, yeah.
So they were asking me questions. What about this? Well, how does this work? And because I'm a massage therapist, and they are too, I can tell them from a massage therapy standpoint how things are.
I see.
And I'm like, okay, this is why I'm going through this. It's an experience. So I started, going through the oncology classes. And so like later on down the road, when I started working again as a massage therapist, I seemed to get an influx of cancer patients coming through my door now. And wow. I was relating to them. And I was like, okay, this is why I was going through this. I needed this experience so I could relate to these people.
Oh.
Yeah, it was really profound.
That's a God thing.
Yeah, it was really profound. It was really profound.
Did the experience, as we near the end of the show, I just have a few more questions. Mm-hmm. Did the experience change you as a person? And if so, how? Actually, this applies to both of you.
Oh, absolutely. It did change me. Absolutely. One, it was such a reality check. I mean, just when you think everything's going, there's always something that kind of knocks you down a rung and just kind of
like the
checks
gallstones. Or not gallstone, but the gallbladder.
Oh, the gallbladder. Oh, my God. The gallbladder.
During this process.
Apparently, Taxotere doesn't play well with gallbladders. Who knew? I had a gallbladder attack so badly that I was in the ER. Do you remember? I don't know. I was in the hospital for like 8 or 9 days.
I vaguely remember that.
Oh, because not only was I in there with a gallbladder attack, but this one over here gave me COVID. So I had COVID while I was going through chemo. Oh,
talking to me like I'm a dog or something. This one over here.
This one over here. But thank you, PEC, for not letting anybody go home when they had COVID.
But those weren't life-threatening situations as much as they were just aggravation on top of what you're already experiencing.
But it put me in check. Okay. And so it changed me to be more patient than I already was. It changed me in the idea that anything, again, that's negative, why did this happen? What can I learn from this? What can I get out of this? Instead of you being resentful all the time because it happened. Well, what did you learn from it? How did it affect you?
That's good.
And so every single thing that happens to us now, I'm like, well, what is the point of this? Right. Take a step back. Sometimes things happen. You can't see the trees through the forest. And so sometimes it's easier to deal with something. You're not in denial. Denial's setting you clear on the outside of the forest. You're not in denial that it happened, but you don't let it consume you to the point where you lose perspective. So it's somehow you have to find that middle ground. I get it. And that keeps you grounded, and it keeps you humble. It keeps you very humble.
Well, that's the change. Did you find that you had a life-changing experience in this yourself? Did it change you as a person?
Yeah, it changed me overall. That I guess especially with, like I said earlier, it was a game changer in, okay, I've got to, I got to get my pom-poms and start, cheering on. But I mean, overall, it's just more awareness of, watching somebody go through what she did, and realizing, yeah, I married a fighter here. She slayed the dragon, and
I did slay the dragon.
That's the main thing. Personally, again, like I said, it's helped with a lot of patience and more awareness of what she goes through and things like that. Because I don't ever want to see her have to go through that again.
No.
Nothing worse than to see your loved one go through this, and that's what makes.
I'm sorry. I do have to say one thing before we close out that's really important for people who are listening now. When you're going through this, it's going to suck. There's just no way around it. It's going to fucking suck. The second one that really helped me was when chemo brain it can be debilitating and it can be so frustrating. It will pass. It will get better eventually. But you have to keep your brain engaged. So when I was going through it, not only I was taking care of the bills and the finances, I needed something complicated to keep my focus. So Evan, our youngest one, Evan, he got me started in cryptocurrency. So I was doing like little crypto things, $25 here, $50 there, kind of thing, and watching crypto and trying to understand that because it's very complicated. Crypto is very complicated. So he was kind of teaching me about that. Also, too, I took more classes in massage and got my instructor's license while I was going through chemo.
Oh, okay.
I needed something that I could relate to, and I needed to get more focus. So I started studying reflexology, which is complicated, and I started studying craniosacral therapy, which is incredibly complicated. Yeah.
I can't pronounce what you just said.
You don't have to excel at it. You just need something really, really challenging to stay focused. It doesn't matter whether you do well at it or not. You just need to focus. Because if you focus on something mindless, Flintstones or something like that, that's where your brain's going to be. It's going to turn into mush. You need to keep your brain going, even if it's difficult. And that's why I chose these very complicated things to think about. So, and it doesn't, find something you can relate to and just find the complicated part about it, stay focused. Because it doesn't matter if you do well, you just need to focus.
That's very good. I'm going to actually ask you to think of both of you all right now as we literally get the last words. We're going to start with you, Les. As you address the support personnel, the significant other in somebody's life or whatever capacity, what do you say to the audience out there that are potentially in your former or current position even? What would you say to them to offer them support, encouragement, insight, et cetera, et cetera?
I think one of the things through this whole process is not only watching a wonderful woman that slayed the dragon, so to speak.
So amazing, isn't he?
But,
I love him.
But it's the fact that the people who came out of the woodworks, as she was saying earlier, people you don't know, it's like everybody comes together, and there's so many people, because as the guy married to the lady here, you can't do it alone, and it takes a village, and it's just amazing the outpour of folks that was out there to support. But I think for everybody out there, you've got to be patient. Yeah. You've got to be a good listener. You've got to really be in tune and be patient. Because again, the anger is very real, and you're going to be the butt end of the. You're going to be taken in the backside. Yeah. And you gotta know when to say the right things, and
that comes from trial and error too.
And most of the time I felt like I was just, being gibberish on everything I had to say to her. But for some reason, luckily it all hit home for her. So, but you just, you got to take the time, be patient, go with the roller coaster, and know that you are the direct link in helping her get or him through this fight. That's the main thing, and you have to be very aware. So, you're both. It's not just her being in the fight, but you're in with her. So,
you got to find the humor in it too.
Yeah, but
it was humor.
It was humor, and trust me, I've did my best to try to keep her laughing when she was crying.
Yeah,
that's one of the things, and I think the funniest part about this whole thing, even though I didn't like seeing her go through, was the times like I talked about earlier about her, the little kid going, I'm going to eat the spicy stuff. I'm going to eat the spicy stuff. Look at me. And she tested those waters many, 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 many times. And that's what made it humorous in most cases. And it's little comments that you make, especially if she's in there going through her therapy and stuff like that, making faces through the window. Because I couldn't be there with her most of the time, but I go when I went. Time for me to come pick her up, or whatever the case may be. With the times that she didn't drive, we were making sign languages, through the window and stuff like that.
Rude gestures that everybody else was watching, but they didn't know who I was doing it at.
Yeah,
things like that.
So, but overall, as a supporter and everything, again, you can't do it by yourself, and don't try to handle it by yourself.
Yeah.
And that's all I got to say about that. So,
thanks, Forrest.
The humor in it. I would sit out on the patio, have my glass of Chardonnay because what else was I doing, right? There'd be a fucking fly in my Chardonnay, and I'd have Alanis Morissette going through my head, kind of thing. I was like, what is it with these flies? I went through 4 glasses of wine because I literally had a black fly in my Chardonnay, and I was like, okay, so now I have to go and listen to Alanis Morissette because of that line. And 2, these little motherfuckers are ruining my wine. I'm having to dump it out. You're making me dump wine because you're invading my space.
Did you really dump it out because of a bug?
It was a fly.
So you're not a true alcoholic right there, I can tell you that. True alcoholic would have said protein.
Yeah,
I know.
Protein. It was an extra protein.
No, I can't. I had like this beautiful glass of wine. I'm sitting outside. I'm enjoying nature. I'm listening to the trees. I'm watching the squirrels, and this fucker went zip, zip, splash in my wine. I was like, God damn it. So you have to, but then that got me started on my carnivorous plant thing. So I got into carnivorous plants just so these flies would die. Because this is what happens when you have too much time on your hands sometimes.
Oh, carnivorous plants. Thank God they were small.
That's another ball of wax.
Okay.
But yeah, you have to see the humor in everything. The good thing about me not having hair is I could drive my truck with a sunroof open. And my hair wasn't getting sucked up because I had waist length hair.
Right.
So my hair wasn't getting sucked up in the sunroof. Okay.
Did you ever lose a beanie?
No. And the good thing is too, you can get out of the shower, you use one soap for everything. So all my hair products were put away, so I didn't have shit laying on the bathroom counter all the time. And Les didn't have to mess with it because the bathroom counter was actually clean now.
Didn't have to clean up the trap and the plumbing.
No.
Right.
And I have an assortment of beanies for everything that I needed. I never had a bad hair day, ever.
That's good.
It was great.
I could say she was very cognitive at the beginning, that she had to have that beanie cap on wherever we went out and everything.
Oh.
And then one night, because I kept on telling you, you really don't, your head's shaped perfectly. You look great.
I did have a nice
and
head.
Everything.
I have a
and we go to Oak
ball.
Lawn, and she has the beanie cap, and she was in a slot tournament.
Oh, it's trash. Again, drinking beer.
And I got video on my phone, but she, was doing the slots, and I got pictures of her with her beanie cap and everything. And then all of a sudden, they started doing the drawings, and she won $5,000.
I placed second in the slot tournament.
And from that point on, the beanie cap came off, And she didn't put it back on the whole night. She went around without, and I pointed that out to her. I said, honey, you just took the beanie cap off. And nobody noticed the difference about you other than that you were bald and everything.
Yeah. Everybody's
they
like,
knew your situation.
My God. Yeah. And it was the weirdest thing.
And from that point on, she didn't worry about wearing a beanie cap. It was that night that I was so proud of her because
that's awesome.
She just overcame something that she didn't care about anymore. She didn't care about wearing the beanie cap. And
I won $5,000 that I completely forgot about until the IRS until I got a 1099 in the mail from Oakland. I'm like, what in the hell is this? When did I win $5,000? And I almost disputed it until he brought it up on the video. And I was like, shit, fire, I did win that, didn't I?
Yeah.
I guess I have to pay taxes on that. I completely forgot about it.
But yeah, that's another thing too, is that the complex of you were talking about the wigs versus the cap, and she couldn't do without that cap being on her head until that one night. And it wasn't because of the $5,000. It was just that she was having such a good time and realized that she could still have a good time without the cap on.
Yeah.
You know?
So yeah, there is humor in it, and you will overcome stuff. You have to be better than the cancer. And sadly, there's a lot of times where, you just don't win the fight. I've had several friends pass away from cancer that, they just couldn't do it. And it's not that they didn't try. It's that they've been battling it for so long that they're just tired. They're wore out, and that happens. It just, I got lucky. I still have things apparently that I need to do still. But don't let it consume you. Once it gets a hold of you, that's all she wrote. You're going to get sucked down into that vortex, and it's going to be hard to get out. Sense of humor and be better, be smarter. You know how they say, be smarter than the doorknob. You can't open that door. You just have to be smarter.
And get your annual.
Oh God, yes, please, 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 please do not dismiss the power of a mammogram. Also, too, real quick, I want to tell you, we had planned to do this interview last month.
Yep.
In October, and that was Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah, and just because of circumstances, we couldn't get this done.
That's right. It came out it'll come out when it's supposed to.
Yeah,
right?
But I wanted to acknowledge that I really appreciate you wanting to do the interview during Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Yeah, thanks.
That's a big thing.
Wow, you guys, you've always blessed me, and I just so amazed at your strength. Really, but you've always had, as a team especially, you guys have always had this great strength about you, and you're always willing to do stuff for other people.
Yeah,
and one of the largest messages that we always put out on the show is, if you want to feel good about yourself, go out and do something for somebody else. And by you guys coming on this show today, I believe that you're giving members of our audience hope and strength. Yeah. That even I hate to say, if they don't win the fight, at least they know they can embrace the suck, as you said earlier.
I mean, you can't, I know it sounds cliche, but you can't have good times without bad times, because you won't appreciate the good times unless you have the bad times.
So true.
And it just keep your sense of humor.
Wow.
Just keep the sense of humor. Do your homework. Do your research. Okay. Stay engaged and learn everything you can about what's going on with you. Be your own advocate.
Good insight. Good stuff. So if you happen to want to see Les, you just can't talk to him. It'll probably be at any big show that's coming, either the Simmons Center, Oaklawn, Magic Springs. You'll be there somewhere.
I'll be there somewhere.
And Shari,
up the sky and the lights.
Look up at the lights. You'll see Les, right? And then Shari, of course, you're at the. If you guys want to get a spa and have a chat with Shari, you can find her at the. Say that again.
Quapaw Bathhouse and Spa. It's on Central in Hot Springs.
I know exactly where it's at. Yeah. I just can't. For some reason, I can't spit those words out. It almost sounds like a bad rap song. Quapaw. Quapaw. Bad Pat, the Paw.
You're killing me.
I'm sorry. Say it again.
Quapaw.
Bath and Spa.
Bathhouse and Spa.
I missed the house. Quapaw Bathhouse and Spa.
It's the big white building that has the dome.
Oh, that's right. And
Yeah.
the public restrooms are just outside of it.
Yes.
Yes, I know
Which
exactly.
now
where it's
they've
at.
opened up because the government now actually has their shit together for briefly. And so they've opened up all the public restrooms now because the park rangers are back.
Oh, that's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
because all the park rangers disappeared.
That's right. So if you find yourself in Hot Springs, Arkansas, you would be remiss if you did not go to Quapaw Bath House
and spa.
and Spa.
Yeah.
All right. That's a wrap for today's show, folks. And what say you on today's topic? Leave your thoughts and comments on shoutoutfromthepit.com. And remember, if you want to feel good about yourself, go out and do something for someone else. And finally, as always, you're not alone. If no one's told you that they love you today, we love you. So God bless you and have an outstanding American day. This is Bob the Old Rucker. Peace out. Boom.